I'll never forget the time when I finally decided to do core values with my team. It was the summer of 2006, and I'll show you why I remember that here in a few minutes. So I was driving from my house about 4 hours north to visit my parents back in 2006. And I had a book on tape. It was on a disc, but I was listening to a business book like I always do. And it was on core values. I don't remember the author or the name of the book, and I really regret that because I'd love to give the guy credit. You know, I told you, I thought that the culture stuff was kind of mumbo jumbo. You know, I thought it was soft and we could always work our way through anything, and it was about putting our heads down and working more than it was this soft stuff called culture, right? So I was driving along, listening to this tape, and it started to make sense. I mean, everything he said, he started talking about your core values are similar to the values you have with your husband or wife. You know, if you really match at the core, then your relationship will last a long time and you'll understand each other. And those are kind of the rules you play with in your marriage. But he equated everything to your business, and he basically took the business owner perspective that I take often, which is if you ever want to leave, if you ever want to take a vacation or take a break of any kind, you know you have to have a set of rules back at the shop, right? That your team plays by, they police themselves by. And whether you call them guiding principles or the rules you follow or core values, they really are a set of values, a set of rules. It's a guide to help you make the right decision. And I can tell you that I have worked with hundreds of business owners doing their core values, and it's one of the most impactful things that I experience as a coach. You know, it's amazing to watch people like I was convert and come over and say, you know, that was really unbelievable. You know, so there are a few ways to figure it out, and everybody has their school of thought, whether there should be 5 or less, or 7 or 10. The truth is, there's no magic number. I often like to come up with 5 or less, and it's just because you can remember 5. You can't remember 10, or your average employee may not be able to remember 10, and it's just memorization at that point. 3 to 5 are usually great, and if you're interested in learning more about core values, I'd love to share with you what I know. You can give me a call, you can send me an email. I will tell you though that they really are the principles, the rules you police yourself by. They're the things you fall back on when you have to make important decisions. And we make important decisions every single day. So let me go back to how I remember that it was in the summer of 2006. Well, I had a company, and we were a young company, and we were growing almost uncontrollably. We were really growing really quickly. And we decided, after I listened to my book on tape, to establish our core values. And so we ended up going and meeting at my farm up in my parents' farm up in North Louisiana. And a core group of our employees, our team, went up there to form this. We had people come in from Ohio, from Texas, Mississippi, a couple other, Oklahoma, and they all came down and we all met and we got a lot done. But it was the birth of our core values. And after it, I ended up commissioning, through a friend of mine, this caricature, if you can see this, and through pictures, just a headshot of each one of these people and a little bit of information by me, he was able to capture their true personalities. So you can see he was at the farm. This was one of the most memorable things we did in that company, and it was the basis of the start of what we ended up doing. And so I invite you to explore and look more into it. If you haven't established your core values, it really is worthwhile. Now that wraps up the 9 days we visited on culture. We've gone through the entire top, and I'll tell you that everything we talked about is critical and important, but the core values, they'll keep you on track. So as we said, your daily goals need to line up with your weekly goals, your monthly, quarterly, annual vision and purpose. They all need to align, but what is going to keep you on track when you have to make a decision and there's a chance you could go off track? It's your core values. Now, tomorrow we're going to start our phase on strategy. Tomorrow I'm going to actually visit with you about several different types of strategies that you need to consider when we get back to work. And then every day for the next 8 days after that. So we're going to spend 9 more days on strategy and looking at the different types of strategy and things that you should consider when we get back to work. In the meantime, I hope you have a happy Easter. Tomorrow is Easter, and if you celebrate that, then it's going to be a beautiful day. Even though we're quarantined, we have to make the most of it. Thank you so much for helping me maximize my quarantine.